the midday sun beat down mercilessly as a tiny lion cub, no bigger than a common house cat, stumbled through the tall grass. Its golden fur was dusty and matted, its amber eyes wide with confusion and growing terror. The little creature had made a fatal mistake that countless young animals make in the wild. It had wandered too far from the safety of its pride, lured by the innocent curiosity that so often proves deadly in the savannah. The cub's plaintive mewls echoed across the vast emptiness, each cry a desperate beacon calling for a mother who was nowhere to be found. But these sounds had attracted attention, the wrong kind of attention. From the shadows of scattered acacia trees, 13 pairs of yellow eyes watched with predatory hunger. The spotted hyenas had caught the scent of vulnerability, and they were closing in. These were not the bumbling scavengers often portrayed in children's stories. These were apex predators, intelligent pack hunters with bone-crushing jaws and an insatiable appetite for weakness. Their notorious cackling laughter began to fill the air, a sound that chills the blood of every creature on the African plains. They moved with calculated precision, forming a deadly circle around the helpless cub, their powerful shoulders hunched with anticipation. The little lion tried to back away, its tiny claws extended in a pitiful attempt at defense, but there was nowhere to run. The hyenas savored the moment, taking their time, knowing that this would be an effortless meal. Their pack leader, a massive female with scars crisscrossing her muzzle, licked her lips as she contemplated the feast ahead. Just as the circle tightened to its fatal conclusion, something extraordinary happened. From the dense canopy of an ancient acacia tree, a shadow moved. It was a mountain of muscle and dark fur, a creature that had no business interfering in this primordial drama. A magnificent silverback gorilla, his powerful frame crowned with the distinctive silver saddle that marked him as a mature male, had been watching the scene unfold with ancient, intelligent eyes. This was Django, a solitary giant who had wandered far from his natural habitat in the mountain forests. He was a creature of peace, spending his days methodically foraging for fruit and leaves, content in his quiet solitude. The squabbles of predators were not his concern, and by every law of nature, he should have turned away, letting the harsh reality of the wild run its course. But the desperate cries of the lion cub seemed to pierce through something deeper than logic. Perhaps it was the universal language of innocence and distress, or perhaps it was something even more profound, a capacity for empathy that transcends species boundaries. Whatever force moved through the great ape's consciousness, it compelled him to act. Without warning, Django descended from his perch with shocking speed for a creature of his size. He didn't simply climb down. He dropped the final 10 feet, landing with a ground-shaking thud that sent tremors through the earth. The impact was so powerful that birds scattered from nearby trees, and even the confident hyenas paused in their advance. Then came the roar. It wasn't the territorial bellow of an angry gorilla, but something far more commanding. A sound of pure, undisputable authority that seemed to shake the very foundations of the savannah. The hyenas' cackling died instantly, replaced by confused whimpers as they turned to face this unexpected challenger. The pack leader, her confidence shaken but not broken, made a crucial miscalculation. She lunged forward, her powerful jaws aimed at the intruder's throat. But Django moved with the fluid grace of a trained fighter, his massive hand closing around the hyena's throat mid-leap. The predator's shocked yelp was cut short as she found herself lifted effortlessly into the air. With a motion that was both powerful and strangely gentle, the silverback swung the hyena in a perfect arc, releasing her into a dense thicket of thorny acacia bushes 20 feet away. The sound of her impact was followed by a series of pained yelps as she struggled to free herself from the natural prison of thorns. The remaining hyenas froze, their predatory confidence evaporating like morning mist. They had never encountered anything like this before, a creature that fought not with teeth and claws, but with raw, overwhelming strength tempered by precision. Their pack hierarchy, so carefully established, meant nothing in the face of this mountain of muscle and determination. Django didn't pursue his advantage. Instead, he positioned himself directly over the trembling lion cub, his massive body forming a living, breathing shield. His knuckles pressed into the soil as he lowered his great head, scanning the remaining enemies with eyes that burned with protective fury. A low, continuous rumble vibrated from his chest, a clear warning to every creature within earshot. The lion cub, sensing the impossible shift in its fortune, pressed itself against the gorilla's powerful forearm, finding sanctuary in the shadow of the one being it should have feared as much as the hyenas. There was something profoundly moving about this moment. Predator and protector, united by circumstances that defied all natural law. From a ridge nearly half a mile away, wildlife ranger Thomas Wainwright watched through trembling binoculars, unable to believe what he was witnessing. In his 25 years of service with Kenya's Wildlife Conservation Department, he had seen droughts that turned rivers to dust, floods that reshaped the landscape, and territorial wars that raged for weeks. He thought he had witnessed every possible drama the savannah could offer. He was wrong. The defeated hyenas slunk away into the grasslands, their tails between their legs, their egos as bruised as their leaders' hide. But Django's remarkable intervention was far from over. As Thomas approached cautiously, maintaining a respectful distance, the great ape did something that would haunt the ranger's dreams for years to come. With movements as tender as a mother's touch, Django scooped the lion cub into his massive hands, cradling it against his chest for a brief moment. Then, instead of retreating to the safety of the forest, he began walking directly toward Thomas. The ranger's heart hammered against his ribs, but he stood his ground, recognizing that this was not an act of aggression but something far more profound. The gorilla closed the distance until only a few feet separated them. He knelt, his powerful muscles bunching, and gently extended his arms. He placed the warm, trembling lion cub on the grass directly at Thomas's feet. It was a clear, deliberate, and utterly staggering act of trust. One intelligent being entrusting another with the life of an innocent creature. Django held Thomas's gaze for one long, silent moment. An exchange that passed between two souls before he turned, rose to his full height, and lumbered back toward the sanctuary of his acacia tree, melting into the shadows and leaving the ranger with a miracle in his care. Thomas knew time was running out. A lion cub this young could not survive more than hours without its mother's milk and the warmth of the pride. His quest began immediately, following faint tracks across the cooling savannah as the sun painted the sky in brilliant oranges and purples. He spoke to the tiny creature in soothing tones, forming an unspoken bond as they searched for the cub's family. Just as darkness threatened to claim the day, Thomas heard it. A low, resonant call carried on the evening breeze. Following the sound to a rocky outcrop, he discovered the pride, 3 lionesses, and several older cubs, their coats glowing in the golden light of dusk. With trembling hands, he placed the cub on the ground and retreated to watch. The reunion was everything he had hoped for. The mother lioness approached cautiously, then frantically sniffed her lost child before pulling it close with her massive, rough tongue. The family was whole again, and justice had been served in the most unexpected way possible. As Thomas walked away that evening, his thoughts returned not to the lions, but to Django. The silverback had acted completely outside his own self-interest, driven by something we can only define as compassion. He had protected an enemy's child, then trusted a potential enemy to finish the job. It was a lesson more profound than any textbook could teach. That heroism comes in all forms, and that empathy is a universal force that can connect the most unlikely of hearts. If this incredible story moved you as much as it moved us, smash that like button and subscribe for more amazing tales that prove the animal kingdom is full of surprises that will restore your faith in the natural world.